literally my dad was at the old house by himself, and I had time, and I called. I was like, Dad, man, what are you doing? Like, let me take you out to dinner. I haven't talked to you in weeks. I want you to see, your grandkids.
Right.
And he sounds all gurgly and stuff, and I was like, oh, shit. So I told my wife, and I'm living in Phoenix. I live around the corner. I could have jogged there, basically.
Yeah.
So I get in my car, I go there, and I notice the house is like pitch black. He had sold almost all his furniture. Like, it was almost like he was squatting in his house, poor man. And I broke a window because I was ringing the doorbell, and I ended up breaking a window and found him. And you have in your closet, the doors. Mm-hmm. He had fallen through the closet door, and his blood alcohol level was so high that he couldn't even go into rehab, that he had to go to the hospital for 3 weeks.
Wow.
So I think he tried to, and I don't know, obviously we don't know now, I think he tried to kill himself. And if I hadn't broke the window and he was just there, he would have died. So when he did die, I understood. He died on Thanksgiving, which is sad. His mother found him. My grandmother found him. But my mom died of cancer. I saw her. I took care of that. And then when my dad died, my mom died, that broke me. And I was crying to practice every day. I had no business going to practice.
Yeah.
Right? And I'll just be honest. I had no business going to practice, but I love my guys, Doug and my brother Logan and DB. I'd call them. It's not 11 o'clock practice. I'm going there. I'm there about 9. So it's 6 o'clock in LA, in Arizona, and where they're at. And they're talking to me so that I have somebody to talk to in the car so I don't have to be alone.
Your dad's story, is that, I don't know if motivation is the right word to use, or inspiration, but does that change your outlook on mental health? Is that what kind of sparked it, seeing his struggles and knowing what he went through?
I think for me, honestly, it feels, we all struggle with something.
Right.
Right? And I wouldn't say struggle. We all wrestle.
Yeah.
Right? And sometimes you get put in a headlock and sometimes you don't. To think that you're going to be perfect all the time, right? So obviously alcoholism runs in our family. Mm-hmm. So, but I own a wine company.
Right.
So like for me, it's not about, for me personally, it's about what is my motivation to have one drink or 50 drinks, right?
Yeah.
This isn't college anymore. What can I not enjoy that? Like finding the root of that was something that my dad and my grandparents never did.
Right.
Why do I enjoy this? Right? Like, am I overdoing it? Am I doing this because I feel pressure from somebody else?
Yeah.
Is it a social habit thing? To me, that has been the wildest thing to really deep dive into myself.
Yeah.
Like, why can't I just go out for one drink? Or why do I do it now and not do it later? I did it when I was in the league, but I did it in the league because I was anchored to something. I was anchored into getting better the next day. So after you're done with the league, why do you think so many guys get into drinking and doing a lot of drugs or spending a lot of money?
Yeah.
They're not anchored to something to look forward the next day.
Right.
We kind of got to put ourselves in a box.
Did you struggle with drinking while you're playing or after you're playing? Just being a big thing? Or? Okay. All right. So you and I have a very similar story then. With that.
After I got done, our house was under construction, and we have a house out in like 45 minutes outside of Portland.
Yeah.
Beautiful house on the river, but I have no neighbors.
Yeah.
So imagine going from the league, never getting therapy and the team asked many a times, and I told them, no, thank you. It was too much.
Yep.
So I go from this around people all the time. I'm a people person.
Yep.
Very, like that's why I like New York. I could be around 1,000 people and nobody at the same time.
Right.
When I went to this house with barely no internet, no TV, so I didn't really have my job yet, your boy went on a wild binger.
Yeah.
Where it was like, I mean, my kids would get dropped off at school and I'd be in this house by myself because all my kids were at school.
Yeah.
The wife, it takes an hour to get to school, an hour back. By the time she would come back at 12, I'd probably be a bottle of champagne in.
Yeah.
And just be like, well, I'm not doing anything.
Right.
I didn't know how to enjoy life without a drink.
Right. Was that covering up like
Oh, boy,
Was that
yeah.
covering up depression, anxiety, or were you addicted to that buzz, or was it a combination of both? Because for me, that's what it was. It was like, I can't have just. I figured out maybe I will later in life where
Totally.
I get married and I'm able to have like a glass of wine at dinner, or a beer at a ball game, with friends. But for me now, I know because I've done it so fucking much that I can't just have 1 or 2 beers. I literally will sit home at night and have 7, 8, 9, 10 beers on the couch just because I love that feeling of being buzzed.
Yeah.
So yeah, like was it a mix of those two things? Or
No,
what was
dude, it was avoiding everything. Remember how I said we're taught tuck it?
Right.
Tuck
yeah,
it
we
in
haven't
the
been
pocket?
we haven't been in our phones in a while.
No, this is great. But what's crazy is, okay, just dab on that, the phone thing. We go camping every year for a week. I don't even, after the first day, you forget your phone doesn't even exist.
Yeah.
You're just in the moment.
Right.
You like sit, you read a book. You're so mentally engaged, right? And obviously you're floating around the boat, you're listening to music.
Yeah.
You're enjoying your time. But for me, when it came to drinking, especially during that time, anything to avoid this.
The feelings.
Oh, dude, it was too much to where I was like, we are moving out of this house or I'm divorcing you. And I never told my wife that in a million years, nor do I want to divorce her. I love my wife to death. She was my rock. But it was the demons versus me and drinking, and we were all in that little house, and I was the worst version of myself. And so I finally, 6 months we move, it's COVID. During COVID, when we were at our other house, now we're around in a nice little neighborhood, it was some of the happiest that I've been.
Wow, okay.
Drinking
COVID's
was
different
chill.
for every, like COVID's a lot different. Most people, that's where they sink during that 2020 year.
No, because I was around my family, all this love and happiness, and my battery was getting recharged of like being a dad, being active, walking to the park with my kid, right? Or like there was none of that at the farm.
Yeah.
But now I can go to the farm and enjoy it. But like walking to the park with my kid, or, being able to walk to go get milk from the store and come back, like some resemblance of a real life. Those are things that I really love doing.
Yeah.
And those were some of my greatest years because I had a connection with everyone in my family and my friends and the people that would sneaky come over.
Right.
And we would talk all the time. And it was like, dude, I love this feeling. This is like what it's about, right?